What's up, gang? It is I, Carlton Flowers, your crypto pro.
Yay!
And I needed to do this quick, brief emergency update to let you know that Bitcoin, the price action, has just touched down to the bottom of this very important support and resistance zone right here that we have been following for, the last several weeks. And as price has been crawling down this magical 4.618 fib line magically, and then we get right to the bottom of the channel, you notice that we have a baby green candle forming right now. Now, that's not to say that this may not reverse and flip around and go bearish. We're still at kind of a 50-50 point where we don't know for sure which way that we're going to break out. And here is the reason why. First of all, when we look at the stochastic, and this is on the 4-hour, we did have a bottoming. We dipped barely into the oversold zone, and then we came up, we had a crossover, but then we crossed over again. And if you look very, very closely on this stochastic, you will see that the fast line, which is the blue line, is now beneath the slow line, which is the orange line. That is the bearish condition, okay? Let me clear this and try to stretch this out if I can, and maybe we'll be able to see that little crossover there. Oh boy, it's just so hard to see. If I scrunch this up, and now you can see it just barely. Do you see how the blue line had crossed over the orange, the slow line, and now it's back underneath? So that tells me that, I don't know, maybe there could be a reversal. Now, we haven't seen this show up in the candle yet, because we usually get the stochastic does not happen exactly, the crossover doesn't happen at the exact point of what is going on upstairs with the candles. In fact, with the big red candle, when we moved from the top of the parallel, the little box here to the bottom of the box, the support resistance zone, it took that big candle to get this reversal here on the stochastic to have that bearish crossover. Now we are pushing a little bitty baby green candle, and that hasn't shown up here yet. So there's nothing saying that this blue line can't cross over again. It'll take a little weave move and maybe start the direction up. Now, so possibility number one is that this is the beginning of the recovery and we start to move up and at least test the top of the support resistance zone. And if that happens, we could be jumping up to the point of control price on the visible range of 60,000, or we could jump up here to this node at 65,000. That's the possibility if we are solid at the bottom of that channel. Now, if we fail, what is the evidence of failing the bottom of that channel? Well, first of all, we do have a bearish condition on the MACD, where we do have the fast line crossing over the slow line, and we're printing negative bars on the histogram. We're below the zero line. So that says momentum is headed this way. But this MACD set of oscillators lags behind the stochastic oscillators. So if we get a major turnaround here and this starts to move up, it's going to pull the MACD oscillators along with it, and we'll probably see something like this happen, where sometimes you'll see your cycles happen with the crossovers, and then the overall trend will be bullish. All right, the perfect example of this is the previous action, where from the 9th of this month all the way through about the 19th at the bottom, the overall movement is bearish. That is a bearish movement. Now notice how we had this positive movement here, then we had the bearish cross, and then it tried to retest it, but then it glanced back off. So this was the bearish confirmation, and then we start to head downward, right? But then you had the bullish cross right here, where the fast line comes back above the slow line, followed by another bearish cross, and we continue downward. So even though we had a positive bullish crossover right here, the overall trend was still downward when you look at the entire movement. Let's put an arrow there that goes from the top to the bottom. Here it is. There's, whoops, that's still not the arrow. This is the overall trend right there. So when we look at the current action, if this crossover unfurls and it comes from down to back up again, and this comes down and up, it could be the beginning of what would be an overall bullish trend on the MACD, but it's too early to tell. One thing I can say is that when you come off of these critical fib rings, like we are on the 4.618 right here, and notice how price was sticking to that line. When we come off of these, sometimes you can get a really definitive movement where when they jump off of that ring, they tend to either like jump off strong to the positive side or to the negative side. And we don't know just yet. It's a little early, because we could continue just for a little bit while longer if we fail this, crawling along the 4.618 fib circle ring. All right. Now, let's just look at the one-day chart just to see what it looks like, and then I'll be done with this brief update. On the one-day chart, let's scrunch price action down just a little bit. And what do we have? Well, here we are at the bottom of the channel. There's that volume node at 57-ish. Here's the one showing up that was up above, roughly at 61. And the one at 65 barely sticks out on the one-day chart. And then looking downstairs on the visible range, let's scrunch some more price action here so we can get it more accurate. There is the peak node at the 47 that I was talking about before. Okay, so if we fail this, I would not be surprised if we dipped all the way down to that 41. If we don't fail the bottom of the line, like I said, it would be this node or possibly that one that's above 65. And that's not a prediction. That's just what the chart is telling us right now. This doesn't mean go out and trade based on what I'm telling you. This is not financial advice. What this is looking at the chart to get clues to understand what is happening with the price action. Now, let's look at the MACD and then we're done. On the stochastic with the one day, we're also at a bottom point, I might add. You look at this, here we are headed towards the oversold zone. I need to switch this range. How did that get switched to 25.75? It's supposed to be at the 80 line is where you're into oversold. I must have clicked something by mistake. But on the MACD, there is an overall bearish trend. We came off of this peak here, and we're looking bearish. And so we don't have confirmation on the MACD. Actually, we have the opposite because we were printing these light bars here, which said reversal, and the latest bar is a solid red. And then we have quite a bit of divergence when we look at the distance between the fast line of the oscillator and the slow line of the oscillator. When those are apart, it says momentum continues. When they come together, it says reversal is about to happen. That's how you read those. That's how I read those. Well, that's about all I've got. And as usual, Bitcoin is the big brother, and I think the alts are going to follow. They're still being controlled by the action on Bitcoin. As far as what I can see, there are very few projects that are breaking away from Bitcoin. I think Ethereum has looked more bullish than Bitcoin and has definitely broken its downward trend. But the rest of the field is very influenced by the action set by Bitcoin. If you have any questions, post them in the comments. Let me know if my TA here made any sense and if you learned something new. I'd sure like to know about that, and share your thoughts on whether you think that the action after the bottom of this channel is going to be a break to the positive side, or if we're going to go down and test 47,000 before the bull market continues. Because the next run is going to be that monumental run, I believe, to be in December, where we just shoot parabolic straight to the top of the mountain. And if it's not December, it could be January. All right, I'm going to shut up. That's all for now. We'll see you on the next one. I'm out.